for now. Yeah, we're live. Приветствую вас, друзья! Сегодня с нами на стриме Торп, невероятный звукорежиссер, который работал просто с самыми потрясающими звездами, начиная от Radiohead, Beck, Пола Маккартни, заканчивая самыми невообразимыми проектами. На счету Даррелла уже 7 Грэмми, и я думаю, это не последняя награда такого уровня, которую Даррелл получит, потому что альбомы, которые он выпустил в этом году, просто сносят башню своим звучанием. Я, конечно, говорю о новом альбоме Foo Fighters и о новом альбоме Beck, Colors, который вышел совсем недавно. Но об этом немного позже. Начнем, пожалуй, с того, что поздороваемся с Дарреллом. Друзья, напишите в чате «Привет, Даррелл», спросите у него, как дела, а я пока переведу то, что я сказал. Hello, Darrell. I've just introduced you to guys. Say something. Say hello to guys.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
I just asked guys to say hello to you, to ask how are you, and we are starting right now. So, as an introductional questions, let's start with, I know that you start your way or your path in music from church. You start working as a live engineer or whatever, or assistant of a church engineer. Could you tell us a bit more about starting point of your musical career? Call it like that.
I did a lot of live sound for the church that I was going to back when I was a teenager. And then, and also at the same time, we had a radio show. So I was part of the team that helped put together, it was a half-hour daily radio show.
Wow.
So I did a lot of voice editing, and then there was always the intro music and the outro music, and that's kind of how I got the recording bug, so to speak.
Okay, I see. So it was an analog age, or it was already digital?
Oh, no, it was analog. This was in 1980, 1988, 89.
Oh my God, I wasn't born.
Oh my God. You weren't born. Oh, genius.
No. I was born on 1990. So, yeah, it was.
Yes, I just time date stamped myself. Yes.
Окей, cool. Let me translate it.
Yeah, of course.
Я спросил Даррелла о том, что я знаю, что он начал свою карьеру с того, что работал в церкви как живой звукорежиссер, но Даррелл уточнил, и он говорит, что когда он был подростком, это был где-то 1987 год, он, конечно, работал в церкви, он вел живые какие-то выступления, но в то же время он участвовал в создании радиошоу, которое выходило каждый день, и это была аналоговая эпоха, все было в аналоге, все было очень круто. Yeah, okay, thanks. So, this was a starting point of your kind of career as an audio engineer, but it wasn't a starting point of your engineering career. It was like fun, like teenager hobby stuff, or not?
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, I was getting paid to do that, so it was quite interesting at the same token. But I really wanted to be an engineer. I really wanted to work in a recording studio. That was my dream, my thinking, the path of a career to go.
Okay, cool. So, when it was, how old was you when you decided that you would be an engineer, an audio engineer?
Okay, so I grew up in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
And then when I turned 20, I was still in Arizona, and I was kind of just lost. It wasn't really sure how to get to where I wanted to go, or if that's where I wanted to go. So I joined the U.S. Navy.
Oh my God! Navy is something totally different than
something totally different. Yes,
audio engineering. So you know everything about guns, everything about like army stuff. No,
no, because the Navy's like we did like the only gun I shot in the Navy was a .45. a 1911. Do you know what that is? The Colt
Uh,
1911.
no, I guess
The
not.
classic World War II handgun.
Okay, so it's like a pistol, or
Yeah, the
it's
pistol. Yeah, that's the
okay.
only gun I ever shot in the military.
Oh my God,
And,
it's
and I
it's
only
it's
shot one
not so
3
great.
times. No, no, it's not
Uh,
that great.
how many years you was on Navy?
4, 4
Four
years.
years. Oh my
Yeah,
God, it's
yep.
it's it's too long for.
Too long. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I joined in 97. Or sorry, no, excuse me. No, I joined in 1993, and then I got out in 1997, and that's
Okay.
when I started this
Cool.
career.
Let me translate it.
Yeah.
Как Даррелл говорит, что он жил в Тусоне, и вот время, когда он занимался аудиоинженерией в церкви, подошло в какой-то момент к концу, и в 1993 году он вступил в армию, то есть он присоединился к морской пехоте, если я правильно расшифровываю слово «Navy». И он был в армии на протяжении 4 лет. Я спросил у Даррелла, он, наверное, стал экспертом в оружии, и на самом деле он говорит, что единственное оружие, с которого он стрелял, это был пистолет 911. Не знаю, что это значит, я не особый специалист в оружии, но Даррелл говорит, что нет, ну, не настолько все было милитаризировано, по крайней мере, в его опыте. So, in 1997, you've decided that Navy career is not something... It's enough, yes?
It's enough.
Cool. And in this moment, you've decided to again start your audio engineering like daily job, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it was just one of options.
No, I really wanted to be an engineer. So I got out of the Navy and I moved back to Arizona, and I went to a school called the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And it just kind of worked out. The big reason I chose that school is because I had family there. So it was kind of like a nice support system for me. And so the school was just a trade school. The school was 4 months long.
It was not a long period of time.
No, it was really short then. Now the school curriculum it's almost a year now.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
It's interesting because here in Russia and Ukraine, you need to spend 5 years learning.
5 years.
5 years learning audio.
Really?
Really?
So you go to a university?
A university, and you studied audio or whatever else for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, my first kind of profession is in literature. So I've spent 5 years on philological education.
Now, surely you would be smart enough then not to get into this business if you were a philosophy major.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of too tricky. Philological professions and audio engineering is always tricky. So, yeah, it's the same crap. Honestly, it could be a good way of your life, and could be not so great way.
Turning my phone off.
Okay, cool. Let me translate it. После того, как Даррелл ушел из армии, он поступил в консерваторию Conservatory of Recording Arts and Science в Фениксе, Аризона. Это консерватория искусства звукозаписи или искусства и науки звукозаписи. И он говорит, что он учился там в течение 4 месяцев. А сейчас программа годичная в этом университете, в этой консерватории. What are you studied in this conservatory for 4 months?
So the main thing was signal flow.
Oh, okay.
They really beat signal flow in our heads, which was, it's the foundation of recording. I guess as a seasoned engineer, I don't even really think about it. It's just so second nature to me now to think about. It was literally the basic step of, there's a microphone preamp, there's the channel fader, The channel feeder feeds the bus matrix. The bus matrix goes to the tape machine input. The tape machine output feeds the monitor fader. The monitor fader feeds the mix bus. The mix bus feeds the control room volume, which feeds the amp, the speakers. You know, it's that kind of like mentality of they just spent the first maybe like the first, I think it was a 6-week course, and we had to take a proficiency test in order to move on after that. So we learned on a Neotech console, which is really basically laid out.
Okay.
Do you know about Neotechs?
First heard.
Yeah, so they're I think they were originally small, like radio station broadcast consoles, because they're only 24 channels. They're not much bigger than that, maybe 32 channels. But they have...
It's not so small. 24 channels is pretty...
okay, sorry. You're talking to a guy who just spent 6 months on an 80-channel Neve. So 24 channels is small to me.
Okay.
Sorry, you can't see.
Yeah.
24 channels, 80 channels. There we go. So, but the Neotech is really like, it had a small fader and a large fader, very similar to an SSL, where the small fader is sent to the bus matrix and the large faders were the tape returns. So it was really easy to see the path.
Okay, so it was a pretty cool piece of gear to learn the signal flow.
Yes.
And after this 6 week, you think you've got an idea of signal flow.
You get an idea. Yeah, you get an idea, and then I believe we went to more of recording concepts, microphones, placement, like more about learning how to patch gear on inserts, things of that nature.
Okay.
And then we did a tape machine alignment class, a digital audio class. We had a small Pro Tools class.
Could imagine, because it was not a Pro Tools age already.
No, so. it was Pro Tools was only like 24 channels then or something. Not even that,
like
maybe.
a toy for editing, a basic editing.
But it was big in post production.
Okay.
And a lot of the graduates from the school, they go into post production as well.
Okay, I see.
For film, TV.
Yeah, let me translate it, because it is a lot of stuff. Даррелл говорит, что в вот этой консерватории звукорежиссуры в течение первых 6 недель они изучали сигнальную цепь. То есть они изучали, как проходит сигнал, начиная от микрофона, заканчивая уже ушами слушателя. И он говорит, что они использовали консоли, насколько я понял, Nivatec или Novatec. Небольшая консоль, 24-канальная, небольшая в сравнении с 80-канальной консолью Neve, к которой Даррелл привык. И он говорит, что вот эти консольки помогали студентам реально понять путь прохождения сигнала через вот это все оборудование. И он говорит, что в это время он познакомился с микрофонами, он понял, зачем и как это все коммутируется. И вот эта консолька, Nivatec или Novatec, была очень похожа на SSL по своей структуре, то есть большие фейдеры, маленькие фейдеры. И с помощью этой консоли можно было очень быстро понять, что и как работает. Кроме вот изучения сигнальной цепи, они также изучали подключение tape machine, то есть подключение магнитофонов, и был небольшой класс по изучению Pro Tools. И Даррелл говорит, что Pro Tools уделяли очень мало времени вот в тот момент, потому что Pro Tools был 24-канальный, и в студиях звукозаписи он еще не был настолько распространен, но в то же время в постпродакшене его использовали очень много. Yeah, I'm trying to translate very quick and speaking fast as hell, you know?
Just stop me soon. Maybe we should just stop me sooner.
Right? No worries. I just want to...
Isn't there an app for this shit?
What?
Isn't there an app for this? You know, that's the joke. Like there's an app for that.
Yeah. I got an idea. No, I need to use my brain to translate.
Like a little ticker across the. Where's this microphone? A little ticker going across.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, Darrell, let's continue.
Yeah.
So, you've studied in this school, so you've got an idea of signal flow. You've understand that you need to use a microphone to record something. You need to use console to make this balance of something. And yeah, you've got an idea of what you need to do in recording studio. And what's next?
Let's see. I moved to LA.
Okay.
In like the spring of '97. And then the genius thing about the conservatory is you have to do an internship at a studio or a post-production house or a record label. They have an internship program that helps place their students in a facility where you can get exposure and hopefully get a job.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Because there are no of this stuff here in East Europe. Because when you studied music, whatever, for 5 years, and then you need to decide what to do.
You're out on the street.
Yeah, just get out. You've
get a job.
You spend your money for your education, and now do what you want. You know, cool, pretty interesting system. So you've moved to LA you've started working in studio as an intern or assistant engineer or whatever.
No, as an intern runner.
Okay, runner is a guy who make coffee or like
cleans, make coffee, gets food for the clients, cleans some more. But we learn how to do setups for the engineers in the house, tear downs. So we're in the rooms, we're working, we're just not actively on the sessions.
Okay, I see. We called such profession like all halls gap. It is pretty much rude. All halls gap.
All halls gap. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like in England, they say T-boys.
Yes. Like that. So, okay, let me translate it. После того, как Даррелл закончил консерваторию, он уехал в Лос-Анджелес, потому что у них очень крутая система в то время была. Это был 97-й год. Он уехал в Лос-Анджелес как интерн, и он начал работать в студии как мальчик на побегушках. То есть делал кофе, готовил какие-то вещи к работе. То есть, по сути, интерны мало участвовали в работе студии звукозаписи как звукорежиссеры. То есть это больше вот такая была работа в сервисе. And how did you was a T-boy, and how did you get your job as an assistant engineer or engineer in this studio? How this transformation was going?
So I started, the studio I worked for was called Track Record in North Hollywood.
As I remember, it's a hip hop studio.
Yes.
Bingo. Oh my God.
Bingo. So what happened is I started assisting on a couple of hip hop sessions because there were 3 staff engineers at the time, assistant engineers.
Okay.
And I think one guy went on vacation or he was out sick I think one guy was out sick for a while. Like got a really bad flu or infection or something. And he was down for a month or 2. I remember that now.
Yeah.
So then the studio manager started putting me on like really small, simple, one microphone, like literally a tape machine and a microphone hip hop sessions. And as an assistant, you're just babysitting all day long. That's it. Because they would use the console mic pre and they would just bust it to all 20 channels.
Okay, and what did you do as assistant? So you're not recording, you're just I don't know. What did you do as assistant usually?
Set up the mics, get the headphones going. You'd actually build a headphone mix on the console because it was tape. It was analog.
Okay.
Align the analog machine,
So
strike.
it's like you're preparing a rough mix or whatever, or a rough session. Nope.
Yeah, well, sort of. But I mean, I was working on the session.
Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. Let me
Yeah,
translate it.
yeah.
Даррелл говорит, что в один момент один из ассистентов звукорежиссеров на студии, в которой он работал, это была студия Трек, это хип-хоп студия в Голливуде, заболел, то есть он говорит, что этот инженер то ли гриппом заболел, то ли какой-то инфекцией, и его не было достаточно долго. И Даррелл в какой-то момент занял его место в сессии, где был, ну, только один микрофон и тейп-машина. То есть ему надо было настроить эту всю систему, и он говорит, что ассистент звукорежиссера как раз тем и занимается, что подключает все микрофоны, настраивает тейп-машину и делает базовый баланс, типа сырого микса. Вот Даррелл говорит, что типа сырого микса. Но в то же время ассистент все время находится на сессии. Okay, Darrell, and what was next?
Let's see. So, um, I spent about a year doing a lot of hip hop sessions, and I started getting more and more comfortable in the rooms. There was only
Okay.
two rooms. There was a big room and like a big tracking room and a smaller SSL room. And most of the hip hop guys like to work in the small SSL room, anyways.
Yeah, of
So I
course,
spent
because hip hop guys like a guy and the microphone and whatever.
yeah. So so then I started working more as the like a couple of the other assistants had moved on to other things, and so I started working more on the tracking sessions. Literally, it was funny. At track, we would have one room doing hip hop and another room doing like a rock tracking session.
Okay. In
So it was
track in hip hop studio.
well, I mean, so it wasn't necessarily just a hip hop studio.
Okay.
It was known for hip hop because, gosh, Tupac worked there all the time before he died. In fact,
I know
Tupac.
Exhibit worked in tracks.
Yeah, yeah, Exhibit.
Yeah.
His first record, a ton of the Dog Pound was done there. Like a lot of Daz Dillinger and Snoop Dogg worked there a ton. So it was, like I said though, there was one room that was the hip hop studio, and another room that was the more like the tracking rocks room, and literally that's what it was.
Окей, окей, wait a second. Даррелл говорит, что где-то в течение года он работал как ассистент звукорежиссера, и он говорит, что вот на студии, на которой он работал, студии Трек, было две студии. Первая студия маленькая, с маленьким SSL, где записывались рэперы, и другая студия побольше, где писались уже живые бенды. И он все время как бы метил работать в студии, в которой делается трекинг. И вот мы поговорили о том, что трек более известная студия именно по хип-хоп записям, то есть там работали и Snoop Dogg, и Daz Dillinger, и Exhibit, и другие ребята. То есть очень интересная была работа, но Даррелл метил именно в студию, где делался трекинг. Okay, so was a day when you start working in a big room? Yep, not just with these hip hop stars. And
Right.
What was the work in this tracking studio?
Well, the biggest thing that I worked on when I was in there was it was the Goo Goo Dolls. Funny enough.
Google Dolls.
Goo Goo Dolls, yeah.
Pretty much awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So the album, what the album came out in 99, I think 98 or 99. Dizzy Up the Girl. That was one of the big. They were there for about 3 months, so that was a great project to do work on.
Oh my God! It sounds like expensive project because 3 months in track, it was expensive, I guess, in 1999.
Yeah, but but that was the thing though. The track record and in those days was actually considered to be a very mid-level studio. Like your Ocean Ways and your Capitol Records and your Westlakes were $1,800 to $2,000 per day, whereas track record was more like $1,000, $1,100 a day studio, like a
Okay.
different kind of clientele. So, and not taking anything away from the studio, but just like that was just the price point to rent the room.
Okay, I see. So they've charged for studio, not for studio and engineer. So
Correct.
and
Yes.
you've got your payments that time
Yeah.
separately from this price.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you talking about? Sorry. So are you talking about me being paid as an engineer?
Yeah, of course. So you've to track in Google Dolls, and guys spend $1,100 for studio, and they've spent another money for you, isn't
okay.
it? Or you was a part of studio.
I was part of the studio. I was an assistant engineer at the time.
Okay,
so I was now it varies from state to state. Like in LA or it's California, when you rent a room, Ocean Way or United, East West, Capital, you get an assistant that comes in the price.
Okay.
And the assistant is to help you set your session up, run your session, and tear down your session. So
okay, I see. So assistant always included in price.
yes. Now in Nashville, funny the studio may be $1,000 a day, but then the assistant is $300 a day.
Yeah, I know it. We talked about it with Joe Carroll from Nashville, from Spirit Music. He told us this.
So it's just a different way of working. So you know, it's funny to me because I know my way around a studio, but for me to go over and climb into a patch bay and try and figure out where crap is, that's difficult to do.
Yeah, of course. But if you're assistant engineer in studio, you understand where all the cables situated.
That's your job. That's what you're supposed to know.
Yeah, of course. So okay. It's great. Let me translate it. Даррелл говорит, что самую крутую запись, которую он делал в вот этой большой трекинговой комнате, когда работал в Tracks, это была запись Google Dolls Dizzy Up the Girl. Точнее, не запись, а альбом. Ребята работали над ним в течение 3 месяцев, и я немного развил эту тему, чтобы обсудить ценообразование, которое было в тот момент. И Даррелл говорит, что трек — это типа студия среднего уровня, и они берут за день приблизительно где-то $1,000 или $1,100, в отличие от, например, Ocean Way Studio или там Capital, которые берут 18 сотен или $2,000 за день. И Даррелл говорит, что ассистент звукорежиссера в Лос-Анджелесе включен в эту цену, в отличие от Нэшвилла, где ты платишь за студию и отдельно платишь, там, например, $300 за ассистента звукорежиссера. Зачем нужен ассистент звукорежиссера? Он подключает все в вот эту всю систему. То есть настраивает микрофоны, работает с PatchBM, то есть делает так, чтобы все работало. Okay, Darrell, so we stopped on your work as assistant on tracks, and you've done Google Dolls to tracking. And what was next? You've worked in track studio for a while, or
for 2 years.
Okay, 3 years.
2
years. And what was next?
Conway recording for a year.
Okay. And why did you decide to leave the studio? Because pretty okay, nope.
No. Track was an amazing studio. I just knew that Conway would be like a good learning step. Like working at Track, I kind of learned the basics of being an assistant engineer and working in a session. When I went from Track to Conway was a different technically set up studio. So I really learned the technical fundamentals of assisting, especially
Yeah.
when I say that, because this is still analog, and we were locking several analog machines with one digital machine and a video machine, and I was learning about time code rates, video ref, all sorts of different things. Plus, at track we had flying faders, and then everything at Conway was either there was an SSL 9K, an SSL 9J, and then there was two Need VRs which had GML automation.
I see. So it
was
more technical, bigger in technical side.
Yeah, 3 rooms, just bigger. I walked in on a recommendation from a good friend of mine to start working at Conway, and I didn't know an SSL J at the time. Yeah. I didn't know that system layout or automation. I didn't know GML. I'd only worked on like Sony 3348s a couple of times.
Yeah.
And a lot of the clients worked on 3348s a lot, and or analog. Learned a lot more about tape alignment at Conway.
Okay, I see.
And
so it was a bigger experience for you to work in Conway. So
yes.
it was like a bigger studio and bigger step for you to learn something new, because on track you already learned everything about the track studio layout. I mean.
Yeah.
So
I was very comfortable
at track. You decided to change this system and to learn something new.
Yeah, I wanted to grow.
Pretty cool. It's interesting because in East Europe, people really don't want to move something or to change something if something is work. If you work in good studio, why move to another studio? And stuff like that. So
I understand.
Yeah, of course, because you have like a month's salary, you have like a stability, and you have something which you could stay with, and to changing something could be terrifying and could be scared, but you was not scared to change something, or you was scared?
No, I was excited for the opportunity. Because I knew I knew what kind of clientele came in and out of Conway all the time. So I knew it was going to be a big, like, I worked with Jerry Finn a lot, the late Jerry Finn, who Blink 182 producer.
Yeah.
And he did tons. Yeah, he did tons of punk rock records, and I worked on a couple of punk rock records with him. And he was an amazing dude, and I learned a lot about guitars and guitar amps. That's the thing. I didn't learn just necessarily engineering. I also learned about drum setup, drum tuning, guitar miking, guitars, guitar amps, cabling, pedals. Like, it was this whole dive in of on the job training. I was getting paid to learn all this shit.
Could imagine, because for me, Jerry Finn is kind of genius in
he was amazing
in rock producing. He's kind of more than a star. He's one of the biggest stars on. Cool. Let me translate it. После нескольких лет работы в Tracks Даррелл решил перейти в студию Conway, в которой уже было 3 больших комнаты, в которых был SSL 9 серии, в которых была пара нивов VR. То есть студия была напичкана под завязку всяким оборудованием. GML, цифровые микшеры Sony, все было по самому последнему слову техники на тот момент. И Даррелл решил перейти в эту студию, чтобы больше узнать и технике, и записи, и учиться. И он говорит, что в вот эту тему его втянул Джерри Финн, продюсер Blink 182, с которым они делали какие-то проекты до этого, и вот в студии Conway они начали уже больше каких-то вещей делать, и именно на этой студии Даррелл изучил вот процесс создания больших записей. And what was the biggest record you've done on Conway?
Oh God, you're gonna ask me that? Okay. I worked on a Pink record. I worked on, funny enough, a bunch of soundtracks. Really weird, bizarre.
Soundtracks?
Yeah, soundtracks.
Oh my God, Darrell Thorpe and soundtracks like from in different universes, you know?
Different. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have to hold on. I did an MXPX record with Jerry Finn. What else?
And Jay-Z's Black Album wasn't in this studio or not?
No, that was at Ocean Way.
Oh, it was a next step. Okay, let me translate it, and we will move forward to the Ocean Way.
Okay.
Даррелл говорит, что в студии Conway он очень много работал с Джерри Финном, и из больших записей, которые он там делал, это были записи с Pink. Говорит, много всего было, но это было давно, и он сейчас пытается вспомнить, и не может вспомнить всего. Я его спросил по поводу черного альбома Jay-Z, и Даррелл говорит, что это уже было на студии Ocean Way. То есть мы двигаемся к студии Ocean Way. So, one day you've decided to move from Conway to Ocean studio. And why you decided to make this move? And what was the reason for this type of change?
Well, I'd heard from so many people about the opportunity came up to interview at Ocean Way, and I accepted the interview. I did it, and I remember being a teenager listening to records and then thumbing through the CD booklet, and it'd be like Ocean Way recording, Ocean Way recording, Ocean Way recording.
Yeah,
Ocean
it
Way
was
recording,
always...
Ocean Way recording.
Yeah.
Westlake, Ocean Way recording. Conway, Ocean Way recording. Capital, Ocean Way recording. Like it was freaking insane. And I still I work in those fucking rooms all the time, and I sit in some of the rooms and I go, oh my God.
You was blown away.
A record that I listened to, like I literally burned grooves into the CD, was cut in this room that I'm working in. Like Studio 2 at East West, which was Ocean Way in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And you
one
was
of my favorite one of my favorite Joe Satriani records was cut in that room. And I was just working in there last week.
And so, how did you feel it?
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. And then huge too. I'm a huge MASH, the TV show fan.
Yeah.
That theme was cut in Studio 2 at Ocean Way.
Oh my God! So you was blown away with all of this stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Great. Let me translate it. Даррелл говорит, что в один момент он решил пройти собеседование в студии Ocean Way, и он прошел это собеседование, его взяли на работу, и он говорит, почему он решил пойти туда, потому что когда он был тинейджером, он смотрел буклеты к дискам, и вот было так. Он переворачивает буклет, записано на студии Ocean Way, следующий Ocean Way, следующий Ocean Way, следующий Ocean Way, следующий Conway, следующий Capital, и опять Ocean Way, Ocean Way, Ocean Way. То есть это была Мекка на самом деле. И Даррелл говорит, что в какой-то момент он сидел в студии B, в которой записывался Джо Сатриани, одни из его любимейших записей, в шоу Mesh, очень популярное, которое он очень любил, тоже записывалось в этой комнате, и он был, нифига себе, это что-то невероятное здесь происходит. Он просто сходил с ума, насколько это было круто. I guess you was blown away for a couple of weeks or couple of months, I guess. And then you was, okay, I'm working in Ocean Way, and it is usual for me. And when you've got this idea, I guess you was ready for a big mixing stuff, and you was ready for a big job, not as an assistant engineer, or it was in different direction. Tell us a bit about.
The genius part about working at Ocean Way was I did get a few engineering gigs with clients, and it was always great to do. Here and there, most people who booked Ocean Way, though, they pretty much came with their own engineer. It would only be a random gig, where a session where somebody would be traveling from out of town, and they would just be like, "Oh, I got to work at Ocean Way," and they just call the studio manager and go, "Who's your best guy?" And then the studio manager go, "Well, Darrell's available and he's great, or Greg's available and he's great." So that's kind of how it worked.
Greg.
There was another couple engineers that I grew up with at Ocean Way, Greg and Jeff Burns.
I know them.
Yeah, the Burns brothers. Yeah, they're because they're composers now. They do all the TV music for NCIS. And NCIS
I know.
I believe.
They're great, in my opinion.
I grew up with them at Ocean Way. So, and then. Do you want to translate that?
Окей, let me translate. Я спросил у Даррелла, вот в какой момент произошла вот эта смена от ассистента звукорежиссера к звукорежиссеру. И Даррелл говорит, что в студию Ocean Way ребята, музыканты обычно приходят со своими звукорежиссерами. Путешествуют, приезжают в Лос-Анджелес и, есть немного времени, давайте поработаем в Ocean Way. И в какой-то момент ему удалось сделать несколько записей, будучи инженером. То есть эта система работает так. Приезжают ребята, говорят, мы без инженера, есть здесь кто-нибудь толковый? И им говорят, да, действительно, у нас есть Даррелл, он отличный, берите его на запись, и все будет работать. Или есть Грег Берн, который сейчас композитор, это братья Берны, они очень крутые. Мне нравятся их работы, и Даррелл тоже их ценит. Но вот в это время как раз Даррелл получил какие-то свои первые кредиты как инженер. And what was the difference between assistant engineer and engineer? I'm not talking mixing engineer, but just engineer. And
engineer?
Yeah, like engineer, because on all music, for example, when you look at the credits, you see different stuff. For example, assistant engineer, and mixing engineer. And what was the difference between engineer and mixing engineer in this direction?
Well, you want to know about assistant engineer as well?
No. We've talked already about assistant engineer.
Okay,
I'm talking a difference between just mixing engineer and engineer. I'm asking stupid questions, but guys in chat and in stream wondering about these differences. So I'm asking such questions. Yeah.
Yeah, there's for some weird reason, the American music scene has gone to where you sort of hire an engineer to record an album, and that can be in basic parts or the entire record, and then it goes to somebody else to get mixed, to a mixing engineer. That's the breakdown of it.
So you have this kind of separation.
You have this kind of separation.
Okay, I see. Let me translate it. Даррелл говорил, что он работал на студии как инженер. И вот в этом моменте я попросил, чтобы он уточнил, потому что, я думаю, не все знают вот это разделение. В Америке существует определенное разделение. А вот когда мы видим кредит на All Music, который подписан как инженер, это значит инженер записи. То есть это человек, который делает запись на студии. А когда мы видим микс-инженер, это человек, который делает сведения. И очень часто происходит так, что один человек делает запись, независимо от того, он умеет делать сведения или нет, но он просто делает запись, а другой человек делает уже сведения. Okay, we've clarified this, and we could move further. So you've grown from assistant engineer to engineer, and what was the change for mixing engineer?
Yeah.
When this transition was in your life, or it was kind of part of process, and you not remember?
Just part of the process. You know, honestly, it was because I would work on a lot of times what would happen is early on in my engineering career, I was working on huge projects, and even though I was pretty much just recording them, the projects themselves would be successful, so I would get clients calling, and they knew that I didn't mix a record, but they were such fans of like a Radiohead record or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They wanted me to try and mix their projects. So that's how I got mixing work.
Okay, you've talking about Nigel, yeah, from Radiohead.
Yes.
Who hired you? Because
yes.
it looks like like this. Okay, but let's move back a bit, because it is worrying and bothering me, you know, that you've done a Jay-Z Black album. It's kind of, you know, like different piece of everything from your from stuff you're working on, because Foo Fighters, Beck, Paul McCartney, like from one universe in some direction, but Jay-Z, like, I don't know, it's from different universe. How did you get it? And this album is awesome. It sounds great, really.
So I worked on so the Jay-Z thing. Hold on, because I gotta look something up, because otherwise I'm gonna screw it up. The Jay-Z thing was a weird. It was a weird happenstance. So let me where was it? What happened with Jay-Z was I was working at Ocean Way.
Yeah.
The producer, who I'm DJ Quick.
Okay.
The producer did the track called Justify My Thug. I had worked with Quick on a couple of other projects, and Quick came up in the whole, I think Quick came up in the Atlanta R&B scene.
Okay.
So he knew nothing about rock style recording.
Yeah.
And it really intrigued him. And because I worked on a lot of rock projects, he started asking me questions. And he was like, dude, can you show me how you do it? And I'm like, yeah. So I would show him things like parallel compression and over-de-essing hi-hats and subharmonic stuff on kick drums and just pre-delays on reverbs and things like that. And it would blow his mind. So he came in on this track, and I was assisting him. I was literally assisting him. And he literally just said, dude, help me mix this. I'll give you credit. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So the two of us tag teamed together and just mixed that track in like an afternoon.
Okay, I see. So it's pretty funny situation, because you know, Jay-Z is something out of your list for my perspective.
Yeah,
it's really like something I don't know.
Well, yeah, if Jay-Z called me tomorrow and said, dude, I want you to do my next record, I'd be like, why? Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Sure, but
what the heck? I wouldn't say no, but I'd be like, really? Have you looked at my credits, bro? You know?
Yeah, but something weird going on always. The record you've done recently, I mean, Foo Fighters, Concrete and Gold, was produced by Greg Kurstin. You know, it's pop producer.
Pop dude. Yeah,
it's a pop dude. It's like you're mixing Jay-Z. You know, the same situation. Okay, let me translate it.
Okay.
Я спросил у Даррелла по поводу записи Jay-Z, которая есть у него в кредитах, и он говорит, это была очень смешная ситуация. В один день он очень много работал с диджеем Квиком, который был продюсером этой записи Jay-Z, и в какой-то момент Квик заинтересовался рок-записью, и Даррелл показывал ему на студии, как работает параллельная компрессия, как работают предилеи на ревербераторе, как добавить субгармоники к бочке. И он был ни хрена себе, это просто шикарно. И говорит Дарреллу, давай вот эту запись, один из треков Jay-Z, сделаем вместе. Говорит, я тебе дам кредит, как миссия инженера. И Даррелл говорит, давай, какого черта, давай сделаем это все. И вот они реально это сделали, и получилось очень круто, на самом деле. Но Даррелл говорит, что это что-то совершенно невменяемое. И если бы Jay-Z сейчас пришел к нему и сказал, Даррелл, давай сделаем альбом, Даррелл бы сказал, что? Что за фигня? Ну ладно, давай сделаем. И я провел параллель с тем, как Foo Fighters в качестве продюсера последнего их альбома Грега Керстина, который известен по работе с поп-исполнителями, то есть он вообще ни в роке, ни в метале, вообще никакой стороной. Но вот такие вещи бывают. Okay, let's move on from Jay-Z. You're in Ocean Studio. You're growing as a rock engineer, rock mixer. And what was a record you became like the most famous in that period of time? Call it like that. Like, you know, everybody told you, yeah, Darrell, you're like a rock solid, you know, guy.
I mean, it was probably like because I had such a good run with Nigel starting 2003 or 4. I'd worked on Sea Change with Beck Sea Change with Nigel. But I mean, I was really an assistant engineer at the time, but I did help engineer a lot on the record.
And who was an engineer at that time? Nigel was an engineer.
Nigel, yeah.
Not just producer, but engineer as well.
Engineer as well, yeah.
I see. Cool.
So, I had a lot to do with that record, and then when Radiohead came, then what was it? We finished Sea Change in the spring, early summer, and then late summer, Radiohead came to LA for the first time to work to start Hail the Thief.
Yeah.
And so I was assistant on that, and that was a huge setup. And but they were only here for 15 days or some 2.5 weeks or something, I think it was. And so so we finished the 2.5 weeks, and then funny enough, I made a joke to Nigel about like, well, maybe I should just come over to England and finish the record with you. And Nigel kind of went, so that's he asked me like a couple days later, like, would you come to England? And I was like, hell yeah. So that was kind of like the beginning of my career as an engineer.
So Hail to the Chief you've done in England with Nigel.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Let me translate it. Я спросил у Даррелла, что было дальше и как он начал понимать, что он уже крутой звукорежиссер, его уважают и все дела. И он говорит, что на самом деле без понятия, но очень важным моментом в его карьере, когда он работал в Ocean Way, это была встреча с Найджелом, продюсером Radiohead. И в какой-то момент вот они начали работать над записью Sea Change, Beck. И чуть позже Даррелл предложил Найджелу, что он приедет в Великобританию, они поработают вместе над Hail to the Chief. Это альбом Radiohead, который вышел в 2003 году. И Найджел сказал, ну да, хорошо. И, в общем, они поработали над этим альбомом в Британии. Darrell, honestly, before today, even today, I think that you're British. You're not an American because you looks like Englishman. You know, you're.
Well, I'm a Thorpe. So
yeah.
There's a there's a Thorpe. There's Thorpe. Thorpe Groceries or Thorpe Furniture in England, and then there's Thorpe Park, like it's a crappy amusement park.
Yeah,
apparently.
Of course. So you're looks like Englishman or Scottish man or whatever.
No,
so you're not as American, you know.
No, I go to England and I kind of feel like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
And why you're not moving into England? Because of weather?
The weather.
Yeah, the weather is crap.
Yeah, the weather's crap. I mean, it's because it's what? It's like, I think it's 17 or 18 degrees Celsius here today.
Yeah, I see. Мы немного посмеялись только что с Дарреллом. Я до последнего думал, что Даррелл британец, но он американец на самом деле. И Даррелл говорит, что фамилия Торп, это классическая британская фамилия. Он выглядит как британец. И говорит, когда он прибыл в Британию, он такой, да, это место, где я бы мог быть. Но он говорит, что погода ужасная, и в Калифорнии жить намного теплее и веселее. Okay, Darrell, we need to move on. Let's rewind some things.
Right.
You're working with Nigel on Radiohead. You've done a couple of great records, as I know, and 2+2, and a lot of com lag and whatever else. A lot of stuff with Radiohead. You've done some stuff with Beck, and on this part, I want to slow it down because some of your Beck records are not just incredible, but oh my God, you know? And I think that some of your Beck mixes was world-changing mixes.
Yeah. Sure, I mixed them?
I hope so.
So ask me. Let's find out.
Okay. Morning Phase. You've working on it, an album, and some of records, for example, Heart as a Drum.
That's okay. So no, not me.
That was not you. Oh my God, I really like this. But anyway, I like every record on this album.
I recorded all that. I recorded everything. I just didn't mix it.
Oh my God, it's great because you know that if you recording crap, then you will mix the crap. So if you have a great recording, I honestly like this song, Hard as a Drum, because
it's really pretty.
I like it because of cleanest recording. You know, I really like this. I like this punch drums. I like this atmosphere of recording, of pure recording. It's not all about the mixing. I like an essence of this record, and it's great that you've recorded it, you've done it. It's oh my God,
that was done.
Pretty great.
Do you want to translate?
Okay, yeah. You could look what you want for now. Мы немного перемотали время, и я сейчас начал Даррелла бомбить вопросами касательно записей Beck. И вот мы только что поговорили о песне Hard as Drum, которую я считаю вообще просто невероятно крутой. И Даррелл говорит, что он записывал эту песню, он не миксил ее, но он делал запись. И я говорю, что мне реально нравится чистота этой записи. И очень важно сделать запись, потому что если запись будет хреновая, то потом микс тоже не будет хорошим. И вот это важные моменты, о которых стоит говорить. Мы сейчас продолжим говорить о Morning Phase и двигаемся дальше по нашему сценарию. Okay, Darrell, when you worked on Morning Phase, how did you feel? The influence of your way of thinking was huge on this record, or it was just a producer choice? I mean, when you're thinking of sound of this record, it was your influence inside it, or you've just did what you need to do. I mean, recording and nothing special, just placing mics, just taking the cables and.
No, I was really Beck had told me that he wanted to try and make something sonically really big and beautiful
Yeah,
and bold from the beginning, even though it was supposed to be like this acousticy pretty record.
yeah.
He just wanted it to sound huge. So so he told me that, and I was like, okay, cool. And so I just sort of, when we were getting sounds with basic tracking, whatever we were doing, I was just trying to make everything really big and as pretty as I could. And then I'd record a little bit, and Beck would walk in, he'd listen, and he'd go, no, bigger. I'm like, okay. So, so I'd have the EQ at 6, and then I'd put it to 9, and he'd go, no, bigger. And so I'd go from 9 and I'd go to 12, and he'd go, no, bigger. And so I'd put another EQ on it, and I'd add 6, and he'd be like, perfect.
Oh my God! So it was kind of not so logical for sound engineer mind. It was like, what do you want from me? It's like crazy, no?
Yeah, I mean, I say that in a way that because he really pushed me,
yeah,
to carve out this sonic spectrum, and I learned a lot from it. I really learned how much you can push. I feel like when you're cutting a record, I feel like you can push it so far before it starts to fold on itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like like the joke of like turn it up to 11. There really is no such thing as 11. There's just 1 through 10.
Yeah.
And then somewhere like just a normal tracking session where I just get really pretty sounds, like my sounds are from a 3 to 5. And if somebody really pushes me hard to go really crazy, then I'll get it up to a 7 or 8. And then in mixing, then it can go to a 10. You have to do it in stages, I think.
Okay, I see. So you're making like a steps. So
yes.
you're starting with smaller,
yes,
then making it bigger and bigger. And how much?
But Beck didn't want it. He didn't want steps. He just wanted 10.
Okay.
He wanted to hear 10 coming out of the speakers.
Cool, great. Let me translate. Даррелл говорит, что Бек на вот этой записи Morning Face очень сильно продавливал Даррелла в направлении того, что надо сделать звук больше, надо сделать звук еще больше, надо сделать еще больше. Даррелл делал его больше, Бек слушает, говорит, нет, надо больше. Даррелл добавляет еще эквалайзеры, добавляет обработку. Бек говорит, нет, надо еще больше. Даррелл добавляет еще один эквалайзер и давит еще сильнее. И вот таким образом они делали записи. И Даррелл говорит, что он очень многому научился у Бека в плане того, как далеко может зайти звукорежиссер. And when you worked on these records and Beck asked you, just Darrell, push it to the limits and beyond. And how much processing did you use on the record, not on the mix? Because we're talking about recording stage. For example, when you recorded vocal, how much you pushed the compressor, how much you pushed EQs during record?
So there was like all the vocals were done through a 47 tube, a Neumann 47 tube, which is Beck's. It sounds amazing. The preamps were all there's a console called the Dalcon, which was
what Del?
Okay, see, so it's called the Dalcon.
Dalcon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
So the original one was at Oceanway Studio B.
Okay.
And then Beck years ago bought the baby one. There was a smaller one. So it has a special preamp in it that's only itself.
Okay.
Because of the chip.
Something different from everything else.
Correct. The chips that were in the mic preamp were some sort of military grade freaking chip that somehow Bill Putnam got his hands on. Putnam built the console.
Yeah, I see.
So anywho, so all the vocals were done through that mic pre. Then it would hit a Blue Stripe 1176.
Yeah.
Now, and then we'd have like I think it was 6 dB at 10K, and then a couple dB at 100 hertz on the channel. And then we'd have a Blue Stripe 1176. Then it was a Lang EQ. Do you know what a Lang is?
Yeah, I know it.
Okay, and so at Lang we'd probably, because I don't know what the variable is of the knob. It would be, I don't know, 8 dB at 10K on the Lang as well.
Okay, I see. Let me translate it because it is enough information to catch. Я спросил у Даррелла, насколько сильно он уходил в записи вокала, потому что Бек заставлял Даррелла идти за границы разумного, и Даррелл говорит, что на самом деле при записи использовалась достаточно интенсивная обработка. Он записывал микрофон Neumann 47, знаменитый ламповый микрофон, который заходил в преамп консоли. Could you please say again a name of the console?
Oh, the Delcon.
Delcon. Заходил в преамп консоли Delcon, и на этой консоли Даррелл несколько децибел добавлял на 100 герцах и 6 децибел на 10 килогерцах. И потом этот весь сигнал попадал в синий Blueface 1176, и после этого на эквалайзер Lenny, в котором Даррелл еще добавлял дополнительные 10 килогерц. То есть обработка была достаточно интенсивной. And Darrell, which type of settings you've used on 1176? You've used a short attack and small release, or short
fast attack,
a long attack, and short release?
Fast attack, fast release.
Oh, fast attack and fast release. So you've catched a peaks, just biggest transients. Окей, I see. На 1176 Даррелл использовал быструю атаку и быстрый релиз для того, чтобы ловить самые пики. Common technique is to use another compressor to hit the vocals harder. I mean, LA2A, for example, after 1176. Did you use this technique, or you've just 1176 guy?
Yeah. Do I use it? Yeah, not all the time, but yeah, I'll do it.
Did you like it, by the way, to LA2A?
I do, but I usually don't find it necessary. There's only like the Robin, the singer from Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
I worked on a Cheap Trick record a couple years ago.
And
Robin is like a super dynamic singer, like from da 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 ba da 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 ba. Like so that I had an 1176 and an LA2A, and I rode the fader.
Okay, cool. Which record it was? Bang Zoom.
Bang Zoom.
Yeah, I see. I really like this record, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you mix it or just record it?
I recorded, I think it was 6 or 7 songs. Then they took a break because they went on tour, and then they finished the record in Nashville. And then I'm pretty sure Chris Lord-Alge mixed it.
Okay, I see. Because it's a bit tricky, you know? Cheap Trick sounds like, not like Chris, but kind of a Chris. It's because you recorded it.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't know how did you feel it, but your way of recording is kind of different than when Chris recording something. You've hit the targets in different perspectives.
You mean what? Because when between my engineering style and Chris Lord-Alge's?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. We're. I mean. I have to admit, I listen to some stuff that Chris does, and I'm like, dude, he gets sometimes he gets stuff so fucking punchy. It's just like, dude, how the hell does he do that? But I mean, he's got 30 plus years of experience on me. He was like a top recording session engineer.
Yeah.
In the 80s. And in fact, he loved working at Oshaway Studio B. Loved it.
Yeah, but it is an interesting thing because different styles for different,
just a different style.
You need different styles for different recordings, and
right.
I like Chris records, but I like the same your records. I like the smooth and like airy sound. You know, it's not always punchy, but if we talk about Beck, new album Colors sounds so punchy. It's like it's like you've stressed it a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about it. Hold it in mind. I'll translate everything I need to translate, and we will back to a punchy sound in Colors. In this perspective. Мы с Дарреллом поговорили о том, что его стиль записи немного отличается от стиля записи Криса Лорда, например. Мы начали с того, что говорили о том, использует ли Даррелл LA2A для дополнительной компрессии при записи вокала. Он говорит, что очень редко, и вот один из моментов, когда он использовал, это была запись Чипа Трика «Bang Zoom Crazy Hello». 2016 год, если я не ошибаюсь. И вот эту запись Даррелл записывал, а миксил ее Крис. И получилась очень интересная смесь, потому что записи Даррелла, они более сбалансированы, а записи Криса, они более панчевые. И вот Даррелл говорит, что когда он слушает записи Криса, то иногда думает, блин, как может запись быть настолько панчевой? Это даже слишком. Но он ценит эти все вещи и говорит, что Крис был топовым инженером еще до того, как Даррелл начал свою карьеру аудиоинженера еще в 80-х. Но мы возвратились к Beck в конце разговора, и я сказал Дарреллу, что альбом Colors звучит очень панчево. И сейчас, я думаю, мы поговорим, почему он звучит так панчево. Окей, Даррелл, when we're comparing Beck's album Morning Face and Colors, they sound totally different.
So different producer, different.
Yeah, it sounds totally different.
Okay, so let me just explain. So Colors, that majority of that record was all recorded and played by Greg Kurstin and his engineer Alex Pasco.
Okay.
The only thing I did on the record was a lot of vocals with Beck, strings. We did a couple days of drums, which made the record. So I did, in the like the big scheme of things, I pretty much just did like vocal strings and a couple of odd instruments in here and there. That's about it.
Okay, now, so you've recorded the most important part of this record, the vocals.
Yeah, the vocals. Yeah, and then I remixed Dreams.
Okay.
For the CD release.
I see. Why so?
Because Dreams came out 2 years ago.
Okay.
And just Beck kind of felt like the record had sonically grown and changed a bit between the tracks. Even though those tracks, like the tracks from the songs that are on Colors, the whole record, came about the same time as Dreams. But Dreams was mixed and released 2 years ago. He just thought that it doesn't feel the same anymore. So he felt like he needed to revisit Dreams to make it feel a little bit more cohesive with the rest of the record.
Okay, I see.
So,
but I guess you've done this part of job, because Dreams for me sounds not as different song from an album. It sounds like.
Yeah,
like any songs in this release. So it's pretty impressive. But okay, let me translate it quickly. Даррелл говорит, что в записи Colors он записывал все вокалы, записывал струнные, записывал часть барабанов и часть дополнительных инструментов. Но он говорит, что он также делал пересведение песни Dreams, которая вышла за 2 года до релиза альбома. И сейчас будем морочить Даррелла звуком песни Dreams, которая звучит очень круто. Прогуглите, обалденная запись. Okay, Darrell, I think the Dreams is incredible song. And let's make it more clear. How did you get this short and punchy snare drum, but with huge airy space in this record? Because it's kind of pretty tricky, you know?
You know, man, I'm gonna have to pass on that question because it's kind of that really has to do with Greg and how he programs.
Okay. So a lot of stuff going from producer, and you're just trying to not screwing up it.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. In that case, I'd just be like adding some top just to make it a little brighter, so it cuts through.
Okay, I see. So if I be clear in this moment, you're as a mixing engineer from time to time, or mostly not trying to change a work of producer. You're trying to support a work of producer and programmer. You're not the type of mixing guy who is, I'm a guy, I will change anything because it is my taste and it is my piece of cake to make a final sound. You're not such a guy.
No.
Isn't it?
No, because I don't like to use. I don't like. Hey man, I don't think that there's anything wrong. Like a lot of mix guys, they use drum samples all the time, and they use the same drum samples over and over again.
Yeah, like Andy Wallace, for example, he used one of the snare drums from early 90s.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, that's and funny. Andy Wallace is my favorite engineer of all.
Totally agreed with you.
So, but just for whatever reason, when I'm working, whenever I'm trying to mix something, especially that somebody gave to me, I'm usually just trying to keep the core of what they recorded and make it sound as good as I possibly can. And then from there, it's especially with the drums. And then from there, if I'm missing information in the drums that I just can't get out with EQ or some of the crazy plugins, like one of the biggest plugins that I've come across recently is the Sound Radix drum leveler. Is insane.
My God, it's great.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You know, if by processing and EQ, I still can't get out of what I think it needs in the mix, then yeah, I'll go through and I'll start looking for a sample, and whether it be a kick drum because I can't get enough attack out of it, or the kick drum because it's like it sounds too like a basketball, like doink doink doink.
Yeah.
And so it's missing a lot of low mid kind of chest information. So I'll throw a sample underneath it to support it. That's how I try to work usually.
I see. It's pretty cool. By the way, about drum leveler, when I was in Tel Aviv this spring, I was in Sound Radix office / studio, and I've just asked Nir that, Nir, you know, your drum leveler is suck. Nir, what the hell? I just told him, you know, I'm not getting this idea. It's kind of, I don't know, it's stupid plugin. Nir told me, what are you talking about? You're insane. Drum level is great, but I've tried to push him, you know, a bit, and we've spent almost an hour just handling with drum leveler, and Nir showed me a tricky kind of stuff on drum leveler, and I've used this stuff on my video review on drum leveler a bit later when I move back to Ukraine after my Israel trip. But it was funny. His eyes was incredible in this moment.
I bet.
What? You know what? Drum leveler is a crap? What? Oh my God, what are you talking about?
The drum leveler is the reason I got into the whole Sound Radix.
Yeah, it's totally great. It's the most...
Drum leveler, surfer EQ, and then the Foos Fighter record is where I finally dug into auto align. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but Pi is kind of a genius stuff, like this phase shifting on whole frequency range in real time to make everything cohesive and aligned. It's not just time delay. It's kind of a tricky phase.
Near's a mad fucking scientist. That's what he is.
Yeah, but there. Every guy in Sound Radix, they're a small team, but I've talked to them, and they're kind of Israeli geniuses.
Yeah,
like technician geeks in good sense and in good way.
Right.
They're incredible, and they have pretty funny studio with a lot of good equipment. It would be interesting for you someday to mix something in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. if you start thinking about this idea, they have a rare Lavatech or whatever a console from like early 50s or whatever, pretty awesome, like tube sounding shit. When I've told to Giancarlo Del Sordo from Acoustica Audio to check this console, Giancarlo, wow, I want this console as a plugin. I want to make it, and maybe in near future we will see it as a plugin. Would be great. But
that would be
here is incredible. Anyway,
wow.
I will need to translate it, and then we will move forward. I'm just trying to stress you a bit to not so tired and not to be so boring of all this blah 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 talking, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Мы только что с Дарреллом очень долго говорили, и чтобы сделать вот эту вещь как-то более-менее собранной, то, что мы говорили, я рассказывал ему о моем визите в компании Sound Radix в Тель-Авиве. Почему? Потому что Даррелл считает Drum Leveler от Sound Radix одним из самых крутых плагинов, и он говорит, что это один из самых важных инструментов в его работе, когда он работает над записями. Он использует этот плагин везде, и он действительно очень круто работает. Да, мы будем двигаться дальше. Если захотите, очень медленно пересмотрите вот этот момент, потому что очень много переводить, я не хочу терять время на переведение вот этой болтовни. Спасибо, ребята, за понимание. Двигаемся дальше. Okay, Darrell, I've just asked guys to move back and to rewind something and to understand what we've talked about, because it was kind of a blah stuff. And I want to concentrate it a bit on a drum sound. You've said that you're using drum leveler to make drum sound more cohesive, but I heard a lot of punch and a lot of energy on your drums. Could you tell us your favorite way of handling the drums when you need to make a powerful and punchy sound? What it is, parallel compression or whatever else?
Usually it's okay. First and foremost, to me it's a lot to do with the drummer himself and the instrument that he plays. Yeah, that's a big thing. Joey Waronker toured with Beck for years, still does. Sorry, and I made a couple records with Joey years ago, early 2000s, mid 2000s actually. Yeah, and him producing a record and not playing on them, he showed me so many tips and tricks about tuning drums and how to get drums to sound really good when you put a microphone on them. When you hear a drum in a room, you whack a snare and you're like, oh, that sounds pretty good, and you put a mic on it, and it's like in the room it's kind of got this like crack, crack. And you put a mic on it, like a 57, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it goes oink, oink. You're like, what? Huh?
Okay, yeah.
So learning how to kind of quickly just take what you have and tune it up to be a more precise instrument to record is like the first step.
Okay, so you're spending a lot of time on tuning the drum itself.
Yeah, and if I'm not the one that's gonna, like, I'm not a drum tech, I'm not a drum tuner, but I'm pretty good at articulating to techs or musicians like, hey man, I'm trying to get this or I'm trying to get that. Can you?
Oh, okay, I see.
Can you see if you can work on it? You know, the snare, blah blah, whether it's deadening it a little bit or tightening it up, whatever the case may be. And then two, I think a lot of the the drum sounds you hear from that I'm recording, they're all dry. They're in small rooms. Really,
Yeah,
really
yeah, of
dead.
course, of course. You're not this huge drum room guy.
Yeah, no.
Indeed.
So all the drums
why
are.
so? Why so?
That's just that's a Nigel thing. Ever since I worked with Nigel, his drums are always dead. They're just in a booth. Just what he does.
Like a program drums from drum machine, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but I mean more like just think of like 70s disco, like 70s where everything was like Eagles, like the Eagles. All those drums are dead as fuck. Dry, dead, dry, just no reverb whatsoever, and it sounds amazing.
So you like the sound, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and so does Beck. He loves that sound as well. So it's just sort of like that's what we do. There's never a question of like, where do the drums go? I know where they go. They go in the booth.
Okay, cool. Let me translate it.
Yeah.
Мы только что разговаривали о малом барабане, и Даррелл говорит, что барабанщик Бека очень многому научил Даррелла при записи барабанов. Вот он научил настраивать барабаны таким образом, чтобы когда Даррелл включает микрофон, то звук, который был крэк, не превращался в ойк. Yeah, I'm trying to pronounce it.
Hey man, that's what that's if I spoke Russian, that's what it sounds.
Yeah, of course. You now understand like quack and oik.
Oink. But I mean literally like oink.
Oink.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Don't help me with translation.
Sorry.
И Даррелл говорит, что на самом деле настройка вот этих барабанов очень сильно влияет на то, как будет звук восприниматься микрофоном. И Даррелл на самом деле очень много времени уделяет тому, чтобы настраивать барабаны. Он не считает себя барабанным техником или каким-то вот типа того гигом, но он пытается настроить такой звук, чтобы это звучало очень круто в итоге. И вот в этом моменте он говорит, что Бек очень любит мертвые барабаны, такие как на старых записях Eagles или вот и же с ними старое диско. И вот Даррелл тоже записывает вот такие барабаны, очень в сжатом пространстве, которые звучат мертво, но очень круто. И вот это как раз то, о чем мы говорили. And when you need to add a space for these kind of dead drums, what you prefer to use?
We never would add space.
Oh, okay. Which is your favorite reverb for this or whatever? Or you're using doublers or delays or choruses?
No, see that's the thing, man. Like the Beck records are like the drums are dead.
Yeah.
There's no reverb on them whatsoever. Like that's the thing that I feel like people don't understand. The drums and the bass, like the rhythm, the core rhythm section is completely dead, dry, direct in your face, punchy in your face, and then everything else is swirling around it.
So you're using no reverbs
no,
on drums.
Never.
Totally dry.
Totally dry. Now
okay.
So you can, but there were a lot of reverb effects on like the information.
Yeah.
Just plates and things like that on the snare drum, like Black Star, I think it's Black Star is the song. That's got a lot of reverb on it, but that's very, very rare.
And you're using reverb only on snare drum. If you need to use reverb on Beck's records.
Correct.
Okay, great. Let me translate it because it is important. Даррелл говорит, что он вообще не использует реверберацию на барабанах для Бека. И самый прикольный момент, то, что когда нужно использовать барабаны, то он использует только плейт на малом барабане. Все остальные барабаны и бас должны быть полностью мертвыми, полностью сухими. То есть они должны звучать in face. И это вот тот момент, который не все улавливают, по мнению Даррелла. Другие инструменты могут находиться в любом пространстве, но барабаны и бас должны находиться в полностью сухом пространстве. Очень прикольная тема. And to make these dry drums even more punchy, what you prefer to use? Distressor or whatever else?
No. Usually what we do is first things first is I take the front head off the kick drum.
Okay.
So it's just got the beater head, and then you put like a couple of packing we call them packing blankets. Do you know what those are?
I guess so, yeah.
A packing blanket is like a thick blanket you wrap furniture in when you're moving.
I see. I understand. To cut some space from a kick drum.
Correct.
To make it like bam, 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 and not like woo, woo, woo.
Correct.
Yeah, I understand.
And then you put like the kick drum, put a packing blanket in, and then a sandbag. Like a weight.
Okay.
To keep it from moving. And it tightens up the drum. It really makes it boom, 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 boom.
Cool. Let me translate. Чтобы сделать барабаны более панчевыми, Даррелл использует хитрую технику. Он снимает внешний пластик с бочки, добавляет туда мешок с песком и заполнитель, который глушит реверберацию внутри барабана. И записывает вот этот звук. То есть таким образом бочка получается более панчевая. У нее более пронзительный удар становится. Okay, Darrell?
Yep. So then like it would be 47 Neumann 47 FET and sometimes a NS10 sub on the kick.
Okay. So you're using Neumann 47 for the kick?
Yeah. FET.
FET. Okay, you're crazy. It's pretty expensive kind of a microphone for recording a kick drum, but
when you have Ocean Way had 10 of them, so fuck it.
Okay, I understand. В качестве микрофонов для бочки Даррелл использует 47-й Neumann в версию FET на полевых транзисторах, не ламповую, и использует саб-кик из динамика Yamaha NS10, известная штука. And so, as I understand, you're not praying for mixing stuff. You're more concentrated on recording the best sound you can. So you're trying to make punchy drums while recording, not trying to leave it for mixing or mixing engineer or whatever. So you're trying to capture the greatest sound you can capture, isn't it?
Yeah. So it just, and quite honestly, it would just literally be, like I said, the kick, 47 FET on the kick, an NS10 sub, snare would be 57, usually just top only. Then, usually I love using AKG 414s on toms.
Yeah.
And then a 47 tube on, or like a coal on a mono overhead, and that's it.
I see.
And then the only thing, pretty simple. And then because like in those kind of drum sounds, less is more.
I see. Даррелл говорит, что в барабанах меньше значит лучше. Он использует один микрофон на малом барабане, 58-й шур, на томах использует 414-й EKG, и в качестве монорума использует Neumann 47-й ламповый. И вот Даррелл говорит, что меньше в барабанах всегда значит лучше. Okay, great, Darrell. We need to move on because I guess we're spending almost all our time on the stream. You've told me that you have a client soon, but yeah, but I'll try to catch all time. I could catch today for
that's fine.
Yeah, okay, great. Let's move on to Foo Fighters, because I guess it is the most interesting thing in today's year when I'm thinking about your works. It's, I guess, Roger Waters and Foo Fighters. And to tell us a bit a story of Foo Fighters, because Foo Fighters have a kind of pretty tricky system of recording. Dave Grohl is crazy as hell when need to record something. Here, moving from one studio to another, changing one engineer to another, hiring 100 guys for recording, hiring 100 different stars for making vocals and stuff like that. He have several guitarists, but he hiring guys from old bands to play solo guitars. He's totally crazy, I guess. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, and this time, I saw a lot of projects you've done with Foo Fighters. You was on BBC. I'm talking not just about record.
The radio.
I saw you in radio. I mean,
that
playing
was
live.
a blast.
It was your church experience in live sounding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a bit about these records, about the sound. I have no concrete questions here because I'm interested in a lot of stuff here, and I want your story behind this.
Well, the Foo Fighters record came really because Greg Kurstin hired me to record the record. So, and it was so the Foos and Beck have the same manager.
Okay.
So it was Greg asking the Foos, like, hey, I'd like to hire Daryl Thorpe to record the album. And Dave was like, okay. And then he picked up his phone, he called his manager. He's like, who the hell's Daryl Thorpe? And is he a good engineer? And his manager was like, yeah, he's done like so many records for Beck. And Dave was like, oh, cool. Okay. So then they called me, and I accepted, of course. And then we had a pre-production meeting. They were kind of like, okay, Daryl, this is what we want to do. I'm like, all right, what do you want? And he was like, well, we're kind of thinking of doing a couple of months at East West Studio One, big room, huge room.
Okay.
And we want to have a couple different setups going all the same time, so we can just sort of jump ship. And I'm like, okay. So what are we talking about? Well, are we thinking about like maybe four, maybe five drum type setups? And I'm like, okay, 5? Yeah, 5. Okay, what do you think of the 5? Well, we got like a Bonham sound, and then we got like a Beatles sound, and then we got more of like a traditional kind of like Foo Fighters rock sound, and then we have a Dead Dry sound, and then I don't remember what the other freaking setup was. So
okay.
But and then like, okay, and then I'm like, well, what about guitars? Well, we're gonna bring all of our Voxes, and like we got an AC30, we got an AC15, and then Shifty has this, and then Pat has that, and then Dave plays this and that. So at the end of the day, it was like, I think it was 25 guitar amps.
25?
Yeah, I think it was 25 guitar amps. And then because of the setup, like I wanted to make sure that the band could play as a band if they wanted to. So I had to have like a setup in the live room where they could all wrap around and play together, and then isolate the guitar amps, but also have everything just set up going for just overdubs.
Okay, I see. So how many channels was
80.
80 channels?
80.
It sounds not as a small project.
No.
Okay,
It wasn't.
and you've used Neve VR or whatever else?
No, it's a 86. It's it's an 8078.
Okay, I really like this console.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. So
Yep.
you're mostly as I understand, you're mostly recorded via Neve. So you're not a big SSL fan.
No. I like them. Funny, I love mixing on SSLs. I don't. I mean, I'll record on one. It's just not my favorite mic pre. I'd rather record on a vintage Neve for anything. Personally.
Okay, I see. So you like this more pronounced and colored sound from Neve preamps. By the way, did you use an EQs on Neve consoles? I mean, onboard EQs, or you're using mostly external stuff?
It was a combination of everything. It was like Neve EQ, it was Lang EQ, it was API EQ. It was a lot of
cool.
A smorgasbord of sonic stuff.
I see a lot of stuff. Okay, let me translate this and thinking a bit about continuing of this stuff.
Okay.
Мы перешли к разговору о Foo Fighters, и Даррелл говорит, что он начал работать над записью Foo Fighters, вот эту Concrete and Gold, потому что Грег Кёрсон нанял его в качестве звукорежиссера для этой записи. Он позвонил ребятам из Foo Fighters, позвонил Дэйву Гроллу. Дэйв говорит, кто это такой вообще, Даррелл Торп? И ребята говорят ему, он делал кучу классных записей для Beck. Дэйв говорит, да, шикарно, если Beck, то все, никаких вопросов. Даррелла наняли на эту работу, конечно, и когда у них был первый технический митинг, когда они обсуждали идею записи и того, как все будет располагаться, Дэйв говорит, ну знаешь, Даррелл, нам надо поставить 5 барабанных установок, у нас тут будет такой звук, всякой звук, и мы тут привезли немного гитарных усилителей, в конечном итоге оказалось их 25 гитарных усилителей, и Даррелл, ну хорошо, да, давайте сделаем это все. Это все происходило на студии Свест, в самой большой комнате этой студии, то есть огромной комнате, и вот все было расставлено одновременно, и Дэйв говорит, надо все расставить так, чтобы мы все музыканты видели друг друга и играли все одновременно. То есть Даррелл изолировал ампы, сделал так, чтобы музыканты могли играть, то есть настроил эту всю штуку, и получилось 80 каналов на нивовской консоли 8078. Очень классная консоль. И Даррелл говорит, что на самом деле он небольшой фанат SSL, он любит миксить на SSL, но преампы ему больше нравятся на старых винтажных нивовских консолях. И он говорит, что при записи он использует и эквалайзеры на консоли Neve, и использует эквалайзеры Lenny, API, отдельные вещи, то есть комбинация целой кучи всего. Darrell, you've mentioned that you've used a mixture of Neve and API, but there are kind of concurrence between API and Neve, so they're kind of enemies in some sort of things in audio world, because API preamps, guys from API told that we're better than Neve, and Neve told that we're better than API, like the British versus America or whatever else. But you're using a mixture of both. For what types of tasks you use Neve and APIs? Why you choose one and another?
Because so a perfect example is like Neve to me is it's thicker sounding, like it's creamier. It's not. It's a Neve is thicker sounding to me. It has more harmonic distortion to it.
Okay.
It's more exciting to the ear. Like when you hear it, you're just like, oh. It's more like rock.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily the rock sound. It's just more. It just feels more energetic. API is punchier and cleaner. But funny enough, my ear, I love the low end of Neve preamps and EQ, and I love the mid range of a Neve EQ and a Neve preamp. but I prefer the top end of an API EQ.
I see.
Air,
So you're using API or API or Lenny.
I will take a 1073.
Yeah.
On a snare drum, and add low end and mid, and then put an API 550 after it and add some top.
Okay, great. Nice tip. Let me translate it.
Yep.
Я только что спросил у Даррелла, что он думает по поводу вот этой конкуренции между NIV и API, между какой-то извечной войной между британским и американским консолестроителями. И Даррелл говорит, что на самом деле ему очень нравится использовать низкие частоты и нижнюю середину из преампов и 1073 эквалайзера нивовских, но в то же время он предпочитает использовать API для работы с высокими частотами. И фишка в этом плане заключается в том, что таким образом он получает тот звук, который нужен. Вот он привел пример малого барабана, в котором он использует NIV для нижних частей спектра и API 550 для верхних частей спектра. Okay, Darrell, when you worked with vocals on Foo Fighters records, their sounds pretty pop, you know? It's not usual Foo Fighters rock sound. It sounds like, I don't know, when Dave Grohl singing Adele's songs or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got an idea, because it's something with this kind of angelic background, like stuff.
Exactly like that.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know. Dave Grohl. It's, oh my god.
That was all Greg Kirsten.
Yeah, it was Greg's choice.
Yeah, no, that wasn't Greg's choice. So, okay, long story short, oh shoot, Sean from Boys to Men,
okay,
was recording in the other room. Dave had met him a couple times. Dave just went up and said, "Dude, can you sing on a song on my record?" And Sean was like, "Heck yeah." Sean came in, he heard the song once, and he was like, and he was singing, he was doing this in the back of the control room too, singing to it. And then he was like, I finished playing the song, and I was like, "Would you like to hear it again, Sean?" And she goes, "No, I'm ready." And he walks out to the mic, and I'm like, "Okay, Sean, how do you like to work?" And he's like, "Give me 40 tracks, Darrell." I'm like, "Okay, 40 tracks." And he was like, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the first note, stack it, second note, stack it, third note, stack it, and then we'll do the second chord, same progression." Okay. It took him like 30 minutes to do a whole chorus. He just stacked a crazy chordal harmony.
40 tracks.
40 tracks total of a chorus. And then luckily we were on a grid. Like, we cut the song to a click. So I flew the rest around.
Okay, I see. It's kind of tricky. So it was Dave from
No, Sean from Boys to Men.
Boys to Men. Шон из Boys to Men записывал бешеные бэк-вокалы на записях Foo Fighters. Даррелл говорит, что они сделали 40 треков.
How do I say goodbye?
Yeah.
Every movie where there's a funeral.
Yeah, I know.
They play that song.
Don't say word funeral on the stream, because it's
okay.
It's a bad luck, you know.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, excuse me. Anywho, carry on.
Okay. Даррелл говорит, что вот Шон сказал ему: "Сделай мне 40 треков", и он начал петь вот одну ноту за одной и сделал целые стеки. Одна нота, вторая нота, третья нота. Потом Даррелл взял это все, скопировал, и получилось что-то вот невообразимое, что мы слышим на записях Foo Fighters. И Дэйв был в шоке, Даррелл был в шоке. Реально они записали целый стек вот этих всех вокалов. То есть это совсем непривычно для Foo Fighters. And you was amazed about this, or you was scared that if you have just 40 tracks of these short backs, and then you will need to have another 200 tracks for whatever else, isn't it? This record was big. I mean, in counts of tracks.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
Okay, every song or just a few?
No, every song. I mean, pretty much every song was big. We were in the, I don't know, 150 track count realm there.
Oh, okay.
Because there are a lot of BV vocals, a lot of stacks.
Yeah.
And then one song had strings, so one song had strings. One song had horns, but it didn't make the record. So, no, it was a high track count.
I see. Даррелл говорит, что в каждом треке было больше 150 дорожек. То есть записи были очень насыщенные. And who was mixed all this madness? You was or...
This guy.
Darrell, you're insane because it's something when I'm listen to Foo Fighters album, the last Foo Fighters album, I'm thinking that Dave Grohl.
You're talking about the Sonic Highways?
No. Concrete and Gold.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Concrete and Gold. The last
I misunderstood
one.
you. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah.
Continue.
I think that Dave Grohl crossed the line of like normal brain. He just on mad side already with all these tracks, with all these additional artists, additional instruments, additional whatever else. And Greg as a producer is crazy. You know, you're as engineer on this record is pretty normal for me. It's understandable because it is your type of music. But everything else is pretty much crazy. How did you mix it? How did you complete it? Tell us a bit about it. What was the most interesting part of your mixing process?
Well, the record was recorded over the course of we started in December and we kind of finished recording end of April, beginning of May, I believe, time frame.
Okay, so 5 months.
With 5 months, but we had a couple of breaks in there too, like all the guys in the band, they all have kids. All their kids are in school, so they're big about if they're not on tour, they take time off for like spring breaks. And when the kids are out of school, they take a break, so they go on a family trip kind of thing.
I see.
So we stopped working. So I had time off. It was kind of nice. So anywho, so since we started the record in December, basically what would happen is we'd start a song and it would pretty much just be like drums and guitar to start the song.
Okay.
And then bass would come, Nate would come in and play bass. Then Pat would come in and play guitar. Then Shifty would come in and play his guitar. Then Dave would come in and play his other parts. Then Rami would come in and play keyboard parts. Then Greg would rad another keyboard part, something. Like it just become this like thing. So now
you've recorded it instruments by instrument.
By instrument.
Not simultaneously.
No.
Okay.
Instrument by instrument. So what would happen is we get Drew drums and bass, or drums and guitar, like drums and Dave guitar, and I record it, put the tape together, and then I'd start messing with the sounds more. Then bass would come in. I'd put the bass there, then I'd mess with the sounds some more.
Okay.
Then Pat would come in and play guitar. I'd mess with his sounds. Then Shifty would come in. I'd mess with his sounds. And so over the course of months of recording, I kind of had mixed it.
Okay, I see. So it was not a separated mixing process. It was kind of a stage by stage by stage.
Yeah. So
okay.
all the mixes you're hearing are just me tweaking from instrument to instrument. Then spending, 10 minutes at the end of the night tidying things up with a little bit of compression or a little EQ here or a little de-essing, a little couple vocal rides, that kind of things here. The only thing that I did do when we mixed, so to speak, I went in and I just did like vocal rides and I did some additional guitar rides. That's about it. I really didn't do any major sonic balancing. It was already there.
So it was a mixing during recording.
Yeah, it really was.
Kind of. Okay, but okay, Darrell. So sorry. When you say you've handling instrument after recording, you're talking about using your outboard gear to make it sound right, or you're just playing with Pro Tools stuff? Because it looks like this process was long term. It is pretty difficult to catch everything on mixing console, on analog console, because you're moving from whatever. So
the album was done in the box in Pro Tools.
I see. So you recorded using analog environment and mix it in Pro Tools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I get the idea, because it was difficult for me to understand how did you mix it using analog like part to part, because analog mixing is like you're starting from morning and finishing in the evening, and then just bounce it and it's done, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay, let me translate it. Даррелл говорит, что когда они записывали с ребятами вот этот альбом Foo Fighters, Concrete and Gold, они записывали его часть за частью, то есть записали барабаны, потом гитару какую-то, потом бас, потом еще гитары. И Даррелл говорит, что у него, по сути, не было отдельного процесса миксинга. То есть он миксил части песен в процессе записи. То есть записали один инструмент, Даррелл поработал с ним в Pro Tools, смикшировал его, и потом записали следующий инструмент, смикшировали его. Записали следующий, смикшировали его. То есть на финальном этапе Даррелл только двигал фейдеры, делая вокал-райдинг или там гитар-райдинг, то есть делая автоматизацию. Все остальное уже было сделано до этого. И я уточнил у Даррелла, в процессе сведения он использовал аналоговый, ну, как бы тракт. Но Даррелл говорит, что нет, он использовал цифровой тракт, и это логично, потому что процесс сведения, если его можно так назвать, был разбит на части. Пока ребята записывались, пока ребята были в отпусках, потому что у каждого дети, и каждый из музыкантов хотел весенние каникулы, например, провести со своей семьей и так далее. То есть вот этапы были разделены. Darrell, I saw in your credits that you was mastering engineer as well on this record. How did it happen?
I was using Ozone and a combination of Massey, a plugin company called Massey.
Yeah.
So I was using Ozone for a little bit of a light stereo bus compression and limiting, and then also just a little bit of EQ, like to brighten things up just a smidge for a little air. And then I used some Massey after it just to make it a little bit louder. I kind of like this way, using two digital or two plug-in digital limiters together, like 1 dB each or a couple dB each, you know, to make it louder than one really crushing it. It just sounds a little smoother to me. So, and all I was doing that for was just for CD reference for the band. Then I had no idea when I'd send it out to mastering. Like what happened was it changed a lot when it came back from mastering. It changed, you know, and not necessarily in a bad way. Just the band didn't like it. They preferred what I had done, and they had been listening to it for so long. They thought it sounded amazing, and they just wanted it to stay that way. And so what happened was I just we just used my limited versions, and then I got my studio partner David Ives involved because I needed his ear, because he's a mastering engineer. I needed his ear to level match the tracks with me.
Okay.
And then do the sequencing and the spacing for all the CD codes and the ISRC codes and all the DDP labeling. I don't have software to do all that stuff. So that's why I got him on board.
Okay, that's interesting because you've mentioned the isotope ozone. I really like this stuff. I've done recently review for Future Music Russia magazine on you isotope 8 and neutron 2. So it's great tools. But guys here thinking that it's not so professional. It's kind of like a toys for home mastering. You're thinking not in this direction, isn't it?
No, not at all. Sorry, my iPad's
Yeah.
about to die. I'm
I
plugging it
understand.
in.
Okay.
No,
Just
I can keep talking.
okay.
Not at
Cool.
all. I mean, I know a lot of mastering engineers that are using Isotope now. It's not a toy at all. It's a full blown, fully functioning. It's a tool like everything else in today's world. And then, hey man, like it or not, a lot of people are. I will say this. I think that artists or engineers sometimes get themselves in a little bit of trouble because they hit isotope too hard, and then they go, okay, now I want to get it mastered, and they give it to a mastering engineer, and a mastering engineer goes, well, what the hell do you want me to do this? You've kind of compressed it, limited it, and EQ'd it all the way to like this
Beyond the
sonic,
boundaries.
beyond the boundaries of anything that I could ever do with my very expensive, very amazing sounding analog gear. So there's just nothing for me to do. So but yet the client doesn't really understand that, and they sort of still want a mastering engineer to kind of do his thing and put his touch on it when they've just completely pigeonholed him. They've tied his hands. He can't do anything.
I see.
Anymore. That I think that is that's the misconception with like isotope, because it can go extreme quickly.
I see.
And so when I use isotope, I use it really, really mildly. I really try to just use it as a little tool to just make a final mix sound a little bit more exciting for somebody to take a CD home and listen to a mix at night. That's my thought behind it.
Okay, but in Foo Fighters situation, looks like this like tightening or exciting was something guys really like.
Oh yeah. It was a part of the process. So
I see.
It really was.
Let me translate it.
Okay.
Даррелл говорит, что вот в записи Foo Fighters, я у него спросил по поводу того кредитов мастеринг инженера на этой записи. Он говорит, что ситуация обстояла таким образом, что он готовил миксы, и он использовал изотоп озон для того, чтобы немного поджать вещи, немного добавить эквализации, чтобы сделать вещи поярче. И потом он использовал еще плагины Messi, чтобы добавить дополнительный уровень максимизации. То есть он любит использовать два или несколько цифровых лимитеров для того, чтобы поджать сигнал и сделать его более собранным. И вот он говорит, что когда ребята отправили записи мастеринг-инженеру и получили их, они послушали записи, которые сделал Даррелл с вот этим как бы мастерингом, и они понравились им больше, и они решили оставить их как финальные версии. То есть получилось, что вот этот как бы демо-мастеринг, если можно так сказать, который делал Даррелл, конечно, это не был демо-мастеринг, но нетрадиционный для американской сцены мастеринг оказался тем, что нужно ребятам. И я спросил Даррелла по поводу того, как он относится к озону, потому что есть мнение, что это какая-то полупрофессиональная штука. Даррелл говорит, что ничего подобного. Очень многие из известных звукорежиссеров, которые он знает, используют изотоп озон постоянно, и он его использует, но в большей части для того, чтобы сделать вещи более собранными и для того, чтобы добавить немного воодушевление в записи. И это на самом деле работает. Okay, Darrell, it looks like we need to finish in several minutes. Yeah. So thanks a lot for these explanations. I hope guys learned something from this. And usually I have several quick questions by the end of the stream when I'm talking with engineers. So my first question would be like this. If you will need to choose only one frequency you could handle with on whole your life, only one frequency, other frequency are not changeable for you, only one, which frequency would it be?
8K shelf.
Окей, cool, thanks. Я спросил у Даррелла один из своих любимых вопросов. Если бы ему пришлось выбрать только одну частоту, с которой бы ему пришлось работать до конца своей жизни, какая бы частота это была? Он говорит, что это был бы 8 килогерц, полочный фильтр. Окей. The second question. If you have ability to compress only one track on your mix, which track would it be, and which compressor did you use for it?
I would probably do the vocal, and then I would probably, I would probably do the vocal, and it would be an 1176 blackface. Sure.
Thanks for this answer.
Yeah.
Если бы Дарреллу пришлось компрессировать всего одну дорожку в миксе, то какая бы эта дорожка была и какой бы компрессор он использовал? Он говорит, что это был бы вокал, и это был бы 1176. The funny thing is that last week or week before last week, I had a stream with Irko Mauricio Serra, a hip-hop mixer, and I've asked the same question to him. And he told me, you know, Oleg, I guess it would be vocal and 1176. Yeah.
You know, my second response when I was just thinking about it is just like, screw it, man. Give me a smart C2 and just bang the hell out of the stereo bus.
Окей. Второй ответ, который бы Даррелл дал на этот вопрос, это был бы C2 на стереомиксе. Очень интересный ответ. Okay, Darrell, the next question. If you will need to choose only one reverb you need to use for whole your life, which reverb would it be?
Honestly, I would use. Oh shit! Well, that's a tough one because it would either be.
Only one. You have ability to use only one.
But only one bank because like you can use a Lexicon 480L and it's got multiple banks.
You could use anything you want, but only one reverb. Only one reverb unit.
What unit? I'd probably go 480L.
480?
Yeah,
okay.
Lexicon.
Я спросил у Даррелла, если бы ему пришлось использовать только один ревербератор до конца своей жизни, что бы это за ревербератор был? Даррелл говорит, что это был бы 480-й Lexicon. Okay, Darrell, thanks for this question. The second, if in one day every console in whole world was damaged as hell, and you need to pick only one console to stay alive, only one console, which console would it be?
The Sound City 8028.
Okay, Sound City...
Sound City Neve 8028, the one that Dave owns, the one that Foo Fighters own.
Okay, cool.
That thing is... Damn it. I don't know what's going on in that thing. It's unbelievable.
Cool. That's great. Я спросил у Даррелла, если бы вот в один день все консоли во всем мире были бы разрушены, и какую бы одну консоль он бы хотел спасти, и он говорит, что это было бы консоль Дэйва Гролла, Нив, из Sound City, которую, я думаю, все видели в фильме о Sound City, который Дэйв Гролл снимал. Даррелл говорит, что эта консоль звучит просто невероятно. But let's make it more clear. This console or this series of console
No.
Just this console. What happens in this console?
Well,
what magic?
I don't know, because okay, so the Sound City console, it's the same generation, and I think it's the same layout. Yeah, it's the same layout as the same console in East West Studio 2, which godly amounts of records have been recorded on that console as well. So they're the same console. It's 1073 loaded, correct?
Yeah.
With the exception of, that's what it is. The Sound City console is a 1084. So the high frequency is sweepable or changeable.
Oh, I see. It is a huge difference.
Huge difference. Now, secondly, for whatever reason, I don't know why they did it this way. Maybe it was just a recall thing, but I've never seen it before. The the gain on the EQ, all three gain knobs are stepped. Click, 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 click.
Okay.
So there's just something like, you put anything up through it, it just immediately just comes alive. It jumps to life. Like the speakers just jump off the console. It's insane. It's nuts. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, cool.
And that's what I did that BBC thing on as well.
I see. Pretty cool. Даррелл говорит, что фишка вот этой консоли Sound City заключается в том, что эквалайзер 1073, которые там стоят, в них высокие частоты, не так, как мы привыкли, вот переключатель на несколько вариантов частот, а там вот sweepable регулятор, который двигается по частотам плавно. И второй момент, который выделяет эту консоль, это то, что все регуляторы гейн, все три регулятора гейна на этих эквалайзерах являются шаговыми. То есть это не вот обычные регуляторы, которые можно нарастать гейн и убавлять гейн, а они тык-тык-тык-тык-тык-тык с трещоткой работают. И что-то в этом эквалайзере, Даррелл говорит, вот просто офигительное. То есть ты начинаешь накручивать гейн, и просто звук начинает выпрыгивать из мониторов. И это очень круто. Okay, Darrell. This was, I guess, the last quick question for you today. It was a great pleasure to be with you here on stream. I hope guys was amazed too. This time I've not read a chat, honestly, because I had a lot of questions to you by myself. Yeah.
Oops. Sorry, fans.
Yeah, but I hope it's okay, because we've covered a lot of questions about you, about your work, and about your kind of way of thinking. And the last question for today would be like this. If you could describe your way of thinking when you're recording and mixing records, how did you describe your way of thinking in a short sentences?
Fucking chaos. I don't.
I know it's a hard question, but try to answer.
Okay, let's just talk about it like tracking, because tracking's a little bit. Tracking, I have more control over what's being recorded, whereas mixing, I'm dealing with what's given to me.
Okay, let's talk about the tracking.
So tracking, I can answer the question more.
Okay, cool.
Tracking, I'm usually trying to make sure that sonically it's the best. It sounds exciting to the artist the entire time.
Okay.
It's exciting, and it's invigorating for them. It's because when I see it in an artist's face when they're listening to a crappy mix that they made on some Mackie mixer because that's what the studio uses for headphones thing, and it doesn't sound that great to them. And then they come in the control room and I turn it up a little bit and they hear it and they go, oh my gosh, that's what we just did. Like they just get invigorated, they get excited. And then they're ready to go do another guitar part, what it is. So they're feeling emotional about the track. So I always try and work to make things feel, not necessarily finished because it's a staged process recording usually.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to be as have as much life as possible and clarity so people can really understand what it is they're recording. What did we just do? Is it is it a good take? Is it a bad take? I think that has to go hand in hand with engineering. If your skills as an engineer are limited or lacking, maybe that's the wrong thing to say. But I mean, if it's just not coming through if it's not being represented through the speakers, what's really going on out there in the tracking room, then you're going to have a harder decision making choices about which takes or which performance to use. Personally, that's how I look at it.
Okay, it sounds with a lot of sense for me. Okay, let me translate.
Yeah.
Я задал Дарреллу достаточно сложный вопрос. Вот если бы он описал свой путь мысли, когда он работает с записями, как бы он его описал? Даррелл говорит, что он уточнит немного вот этот момент. Он рассказал о том, как он мыслит в процессе записи. Потому что когда он делает микс, это кто-то уже сделал запись, он не чувствует полноценный контроль над этим. А вот когда делает запись, он говорит, следит за тем, чтобы сделать звук таким, чтобы артист вдохновился. Он говорит, что в живых комнатах артисты используют небольшие Mackie-микшеры, звук в которых получается, не очень. То есть для хедфон-микса используется такой себе звук. Но он говорит, что очень важно, когда артист заходит в контрольную комнату, и я включаю запись, говорит Даррелл, артист, вот что-то должно быть в его глазах, что Даррелл считает реально вдохновляющим. И вот Даррелл пытается в процессе самой записи сделать такое звучание, которое будет вдохновлять артиста. И это очень важно в том смысле, что благодаря такому подходу и он, и артист будут лучше понимать, какой вот проход записи был хорошим, какой фрагмент был записан так, как это нужно для записи, а какой был записан не очень. И вот эта вещь помогает Дарреллу держать все вот на какой-то позитивной волне. Okay, Darrell, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot thanks a lot for these answers. Thanks a lot for your tips. I hope guys appreciate about it. And
me as well.
Yeah, okay. Of course. We see a lot of likes already on this stream, so I hope guys really appreciated about it. Anyway, we will need to finish it. I hope you will have a great day, a great week.
Thank you.
We're watching for new stuff from you. We're excited to waiting new records from Darrell Thorpe. And I hope you would be grateful to have a new fans from East Europe, from Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and whatever else.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. So
a few people have already hit me up on Facebook.
Cool. That's great. You're becoming more popular in East Europe. Indeed. It's better than be popular just in USA, of course.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Darrell, for this stream. Tell guys something to tell. Thanks and to be here with you, and we will finish in.
Okay. Thanks for. Hi guys. Thanks so much for listening. I know it's pretty late for you guys, isn't it?
Really yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I apologize about not being able to do this earlier. I'm a new dad, and it was hard as hell to get out of the house at 9 a.m. this morning to make the 11 a.m. my time broadcast. But thanks so much for listening, and man, yeah, just hit me up on Facebook. I hope to hear from you.
Окей, thanks a lot, Даррелл. Даррелл сказал спасибо вам всем, ребята. Он просит прощения за то, что стрим сегодня получился достаточно в позднее время, но он говорит, что он молодой отец, и для него очень тяжело встать в 9 утра, и вот хорошо, что он умудрился попасть на студию хотя бы к 11 часам утра. Да, сейчас час дня в Лос-Анджелесе, а для нас это уже очень позднее время. Что ж, ребята, напишите в чате спасибо Дарреллу, и мы будем заканчивать. Окей, Даррелл, I've just asked to guys to say thank you in chat. I will follow all these thanks to you in Facebook a bit later.
Please.
Yeah, okay, great. So, we're finishing now. Друзья, большое спасибо всем за стрим. Заходите на сайт yorshoffmix.com, подписывайтесь на наши обновления в соцсетях и не забывайте следить за выходом новых видео на канале Yorshoff Mix. До скорой встречи. Плывите к звуку. Thanks, Darrell. Say goodbye to guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Cheers.
Пока, ребята.
Good night. Sleep well. Oh, wait, you're engineers, so you've got a couple hours left to go to bed, correct?
Of course. Хорошо, ребята. Все, пока.
All right.